So today we are going to do 9.2, scatter plots and line of best fit. Okay, so our objective is I can create a scatter plot and create a line of best fit. Okay, so in order to do this, we have to create a line of best fit, and you kind of explored this in your activity. But a line of best fit is a line, and you're not going to want to write super large because there's kind of a long definition. So a line on a graph showing the general direction that a group of points seem to follow. Okay, so it's a line on a graph showing the general direction that a group of points seem to follow, and you want to have about the same number of points on either side of the line. Okay, so example number 1 says the table shows the depth of a river X months after a monsoon season ends. Make a scatter plot of the data and draw a line of best fit. So that's our first step. So we have to make a scatter plot of this. So in order to do that, we have to label our axes. Okay, put our scale on there. So remember, 0 is always in my corner. Okay, and then I know this goes out to 20. So I have, I don't even go up to 10. So I'm just going to go by ones, but I'm going to skip every other just so that I have space. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then this goes by, this goes all the way up to 20, and I have 20 lines, so I'm just going to go by ones. But I'm going to skip, I'm just going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so now I have to graph those points. Okay, so 0, 20 is my first point. 119 is my second point. Be careful that you're skipping the line. 215, that went down a lot. 313, 411, 510, 6, 8, 7, 7, and 8, 5. Okay, so you can see that there's a general pattern here going on. Okay, the only difference is this one right here. There wasn't a big change from here to here, and then there was a big change from month 1 to month 2. Okay, so I'm going to do my best to draw a line that represents my data. Now, remember, I want to have about the same number of points on either side of the line. So if I draw a line between 5 and 6 right here, I've got 1 point, 2 point, 3 points, and it actually goes through this point too, and then 1, 2, 3 on that side. So that's a pretty good line, so that's where I'm going to draw my line. Okay. So here's a point and here's a point. Okay. So this, my 2 points that I'm going to use to do letter B to write the equation are 5, 10, and 6, 8. So when I said between 5 and 6, I meant x of 5 and x of 6. Okay, so I'm going to first find my slope. Remember, that's my first step. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Well, I need to label my points. So this is x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, so y2 is 8, y1 is 10, x2 is 6, x1 is 5, 8 minus 2 is negative 10, and 6 minus 5 is 1, so that's negative 2. That's my slope. Okay, and then I'm going to use my slope and 1 point to find my y-intercept. Okay, so this is my m, so that goes in here, and then I'm going to put 5 in for x, okay, and 10 in for y. So I have 10 equals negative 2 times 5 plus b. Well, negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. Okay, so then I add 10 to both sides. Well, 10 plus 10 is 20, so 20 equals b. So my equation, if I plug everything into mx plus b to y equals mx plus b, remember I need an m and a b. That's what I'm filling in. Okay, so my m was negative 2, and my b is 20. Okay, so there's my equation of the line of best fit. Okay. Letter C says interpret the slope and the y-intercept of the line of best fit. So my slope is 2, negative 2. So remember that's how everything is changing. So that's how my y changes each month. Okay, so my y, the depth, so the depth, and we're talking about depth of a river. So the depth of the river. And then I think, is it increasing or decreasing? Well, it's negative, so it decreases. Decreases by 2, and it's the depth is in feet, so 2 feet per month. Okay, so that's the description of my slope, and then the description of my y-intercept is 20, so my y-intercept is 20. So it says after a monsoon season ends. So right when the monsoon season ends, so at month 0, so right when it happens, the depth is 0. Okay, so when the monsoon season ended, the depth of the river was 20 feet, because that's where it started. Okay? Okay, so that was interpret slope and y-intercept. So it means, so interpret, that means to give meaning to. Okay, so what does the slope and the y-intercept mean? So that's what we did. Okay, predict the depth of the river in month 9. So we're going to use our equation, y equals negative 2x plus 20 for when x equals 9. Because remember, 9 is the month, okay, and x is month, okay, according to our table. Okay, so y equals negative 2 times 9 plus 20. Well, negative 2 times 9 is negative 18 plus 20, so y equals 2. So about 2 feet. So after 9 months, the river will be about 2 feet. Okay? Okay, I'm going to do another example, and then you'll do the last page for you try. Okay, so example number 2 says the table shows the numbers of people who have attended a festival over an 8-year period. Okay, so I have to make a scatter plot. Okay, so again, my bottom, I'm just going to go by ones. Okay, but I'm going to skip so that I have plenty of room. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and then I have to go all the way to 2400, and I have 20 lines. So if I only go by 200s, that only gets me to 2000. So I'm going to go by 300s, but I'm not going to go like 300 here. I'm going to go 300 every other line. So 300, skip a line, 600, skip a line, 900, skip a line, 1200, 1500, 1800, 2100, 2400, 2700, 3000. Okay. Okay, so that was basically going by 150s each time. Okay, so my first spot is 420. Well, I only see 300 and 600, so I'm going to write that 450 in so I can see where that's at. So my 1 is going to be a little bit below there, not closer to 300. It's definitely closer to 420. Okay, 2 is 500, so that's going to be a little bit above the 450 mark. 3 is at 650, so that's a little bit above the 600 mark. 4 is right at 900, so that one's easy. 5 is 1100, so it's going to be, this is 1050, so it's going to be a little bit above that, but closer to 1050 than to 1200. Okay, 6 is 1500, so that's an easy one. 7 is 1750, so this is 1650, so it's actually going to be closer to 1800. Is that the right one? Yep. And then 8, 2400, that's another easy one. Okay, so that kind of ended up going almost in a curve, but we're still going to try to write a linear equation for it. Okay, so I have to find my line of best fit. So again, I want to try to get as many points on either side as I can. So I'm going to try to go between 6 and 2. So that gives me I don't think that'll work. So let's go kind of like this maybe. Let's see, if I go between this point and this point, I get about 3 on either side, but I still feel like we're really far away. So what we're going to do is we're going to go between 2, and then we're actually going to have to pick a crossing point. So I'll show you how to do that. Okay. Okay. So there's my line. It's as good as it's going to get. Okay, so I went between 2. So I went 2, 500. So there's 1 point. And then I'm actually going to pick another point where it crosses like right on an X. So right on a cross point. So that's not right on my line, but that's okay. Okay, so this is right here. So this point is 1950. So my other point is 6, because I'm on the 6 line. Nope, I'm on the 7 line, sorry. 7 and 1950. Okay. So those are the 2 points I'm going to use. So my x1, y1, x2, y2. So I have m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I have 1950 minus 500 over 7 minus 2. Okay, let me grab a calculator. Okay, 1950 minus 500, that's 1450. And then 7 minus 2 is 5. So I'm going to divide 1450 divided by 5. And I got 290. Oops, 290. So my slope is 290. Okay. Now, I know this is weird because I don't have about an even number of points on both sides of my line, but if you look, they're all about the same distance from that line. So that's actually pretty good because it's showing that these are all fairly close, so it's going to continue to be, like my points will continue to be fairly close to that line. Okay, and everyone's are going to be different. So if you chose to do a different line and you got 250 instead of 290, that's still pretty close. Okay, because we're dealing with numbers of people, so that's pretty close. Okay, now if it was 5 and 77, that would be really far apart. Okay, but 250 and 290, thinking about in those hundreds, that's not as far apart. Okay, so now I have to find my y-intercept, so I have y equals mx plus b. Okay, so this goes in for m, this goes in for x, and this goes in for y. So then I have 500 equals 290 times 2 plus b. Okay. So 500 equals 580 plus b. Okay, so minus 580 minus 580 is negative 80 equals b. Okay, so then my equation, if I use y equals mx plus b, okay, this goes in for m, this goes in for b, so I have y equals 290x minus 80. Okay, so that would be my equation. Okay. Okay, letter C says interpret the slope in the y-intercept of the line of best fit. Okay, so my slope is 290. Okay, so that's positive, so it's talking about the number of people attending a festival, so the number of people attending a festival increases by about, and that's why it's a line of best fit, is because it's about 290 people per year. Okay? Okay, and then we have our y-intercept. Now, our y-intercept is negative, okay, and we're talking about people, okay? So it doesn't really make sense to have had negative number of people, okay? But we can say that there were no people in attendance before the festival started. Okay, that makes sense. That first, the 0 before the festival started, so this was year 1, so obviously before the festival started there wasn't anybody there. We just have negative 80 in terms for our line, okay? So for in terms of our estimating. So for letter D, if I plug in, okay, so this one was year 8, so year 10, I'm going to plug in 10 for X. Okay, oops, I messed up a little bit there. So times 10, so that's 2,900 minus 80. 2,900 minus 80 is 2,820. Okay, so there will be about 2,820 people in year 10 who attend the festival. Okay? Okay, go ahead and do the U. Try to answer all the questions.